Hello everyone, I am Asara Moore and today I am presenting my self-reflection video for my personal budget project. My first question is, how do you feel now that you have done your budget? What are the three things you learned from the budgeting project? First thing I learned is that I am pretty frugal with money, and that my consistent expenses were the weekly Uber rides to visit my family on the weekend. Secondly, I spent more than I expected. I don't go out often except going to grocery stores, but when I do go to grocery stores, I didn't expect that I still spent a considerable amount of money on the little things like snacks and study materials. Third thing is that veterans assistance and financial aid almost split my semester bill in half for me, and I am really grateful for that. Second is, what is your biggest expense category? What surprised you about how you spend money? My education is my biggest expense. This is expected. However, I am surprised that housing during August was my biggest expense aside from education, and it is only because I spent 500 plus to buy furniture and appliances for my dorm room. Do you have a surplus or a deficit? Are there any changes that you will make to improve your cash flow? If so, what are they? How will you make those changes? I have a surplus. When I add all my uncategorized surplus or deficient cash flow from all 3 months, I have a total of $6,000, $6,637.03. There are no changes I would make as I am content with my cash flow. I am careful with my spending and saving my parents' allowance. The fourth question is, think about your family and community in general. Do they live on a budget? Do they track their expenses? What kind of healthy and unhealthy financial behaviors do you see? My father hands the money to my mom to budget. She has a budget but doesn't track her expenses. This is because she only uses cash, and she'll notice when she is about to go over her spending limit. So that is a healthy behavior. For negatives, a close relative does spend money at casinos, and when he wins more money than he spent, he puts back enough money so that he is left with as much as he started with. Therefore, he technically does not lose or gain money. This doesn't happen often, but it is still a bad habit. Fifth question is, how do you impact the society around you by living on a budget? But what if you don't? The impact on society is that I reduce financial stress and the need to use government aid because once you do use public aid, you're putting a burden on other taxpayers. The sixth question is, how would you help a friend set up their budget and live by it? Well, since most of my close friends use cash, I would ask them to download a finance tracking app on their phones and to log all their allowances and expenses. Then, after a month, I would tell them to look back on the tracker to allow them to reflect on their expenses, exactly like this course had taught me. 7. Looking, oh no. Seventh, looking at your pay stubs from work, how much did you pay in taxes? How did that impact your budget? Based on your personal experiences and information from this course, discuss how taxes impact and or influence society in both good and bad ways. Give at least 2 examples. Since I do not pay taxes, I asked my eldest sister. She pays $489.59 in employee tax. She shared that it impacts her budget positively as she only spends 50 to 70% of her expected income. Therefore, she's never surprised and it does not negatively affect her plans. From my personal experience, taxes is a great societal good because back at home in the Philippines, education is free because of taxes. Not only that, there is a lot of construction to fix old homes and roads. However, I have learned from this course that taxes can be a negative as well because there are countries with progressive tax rates like Switzerland, where low income households spend a higher proportion of their hard earned money. Not only that, some people who pay taxes feel like it is a heavy burden because of federal income taxes. State, there are different kinds of taxes, such as state and local taxes, federal income taxes, payroll taxes, sales tax, and property taxes. This can eat into people's limited budgets, making it harder to save or invest money. This concludes my self reflection video for my personal budget project. Thank you for listening and have a great day.